1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lady, what are you doing? Hey everybody, it's David with Pill Run and welcome back. Today I got to work on getting some supports underneath for the columns that are going to go in. Basically what we have here is the existing column underneath runs up to my beam. And then in this example, I have two floor joists that are running, but I need to provide support for at least a 6x6 or bigger for the column that's going to go above that. I don't want the column to be sitting on the subfloor and not having full support. So basically what I'm going to do is just notice that I have, these four going straight up. I probably need to put a support on either side. Down on this one, the floor joists really are not, a little harder to see, but the floor joists here are not really hitting the column, so I will put 4 pieces in here, on and on. Today we're going to be pulling some of the columns and beams over. I have to set up the gin pole behind me, and we're going to use that to lift them off the road and then into the building. We're going to start with the 3 columns I got and see how they look once we get them in here and stood up. And then after that, if I can get them braced correctly, then whether it's today or tomorrow, we'll try and get the beam in, but the beam is going to require some trimming, some joint cutting, and all around just making sure it looks right and is happy for holding up the roof rafters. So stick around and we'll be back in here in a second. Let it out.
Now let it out.
Yep. Because I can lower this too. Okay, push it over as far as you can. Stop, stop. Alright, if you aren't quite sure what's going on here, the idea is that I'm lifting it up a little bit, scooting it in, lowering it, lifting it up, scooting it, lowering it. The reason being is because I can lift it up really high, that's all fine, but I'm not going to be able to move it anywhere. It's too long and too hefty. So what I'm trying to do is just get it in as far as I can. And if this is my log, I have a pick point here and a pick point here, right? If I pick that straight up, I can move it a little bit. But if I move my pick point, you know, here's my gin pole. If I move my pick points over, then when it lifts up, it's going to want to move in that direction. And that's what I'm ultimately doing. And sure, I'm only moving 1 to 2 feet at a time. But you know what? Slow is better than dangerous. Is that right? The other beam I'm going to move in later because I don't have room. I committed to moving this beam in and realized I don't really have room for it. So I'm going to get my gym pole moved around. I got to lift up. This first column here is my skinny one, and it's going to go into the Airbnb space. So right down here, I'm ready for it. Stay tuned, and I just got to get everything moved around and try to get more of this stuff lifted up. Columns removed, mostly in place. This one will get lifted last. I was going to lift it first, but I didn't see the point. Everything was in the way. So I'm going to move my gin pole. There's the base for it, and it'll get stood up like this, which will then allow me to pick from this end. This is the bottom. These guys are pretty much more or less, you know, at the spot they need to be. Pick from up here, tilt it up, and then we'll have 2 columns in place. Obviously it needs bracing and everything else, but we'll get there. So making progress. Thanks for sticking around, you guys. Well, I'm going to shim that, so I cut it and it's not. It's better than it was. This is going to start lifting off. Back to 10 inches.